I actually think that it's probably my least favourite Marvel film ever.
Where he's getting shafted, essentially. And it's this whole thing, not literally. Fucking, you can't leave it 2 seconds. We've both been waiting for this for a very fucking long time.
Welcome back to the Man Overboard podcast. This week, we're kind of doing a year recap.
Yeah.
We're going to go over some of the best albums, best songs, or our favourite albums, songs, films, TV shows, and just some highlights from our year in general. Yeah. So if you want to learn more about us, stick around till the end. But I thought we'd boot it off with albums. Tim, you go first.
Yeah, okay. First album, straight off the bat. I think we both got it listed, and I think we've both been waiting for this for a very fucking long time. And that is One More Time, Blink-182.
I see what you did there. Yeah, the return of Tom DeLonge, One More Time by Blink-182. Do you know, it didn't get critically reviewed as well as I thought it would. It didn't get slammed, but it didn't get high reviews.
I think the issue with it is that it was released in current year, and pop punk, whilst it is fucking huge, it is a bit of a worn-out genre now. So what might have been like Enema of the State back in the day was like fresh and a new sound. Now it's kind of... I love Blink, and I always will, and I think it was an amazing album, but I can understand why critics would go, well, yeah, it's all right. It's listenable, but there's nothing on it that's particularly, whoa, what the fuck have they done there?
I suppose it's not groundbreaking or fresh in any way. I think that the reason I liked it so much is because it felt like Blink went back to their old sound quite a lot. It kind of resembled with some of those older albums. So I just loved it. I thought the highlight for me from that album as well, which is kind of spoiling one of my later picks for songs.
Yeah, I've had to avoid that.
Yeah. Do I say, yeah, it's Dance With Me.
Right.
I think that's such a belter. I know you liked Edging, but that wasn't...
I really liked Edging.
I wasn't huge on that. I just thought it was all right. But I thought the album as a whole, from top to bottom, there was a few calm songs on there, like One More Time itself, the single, was like a really emotional song about the band getting back together and all the like trials and tribulations they've been throughout the years, which I thought was really good. And then you had some like...
Anthem Part 3 was a good kind of third part to the... Well, I mean, the third part to a thing that only had a second part anyway. But then having that on there was kind of like a callback to the older album, so it made it feel like, oh, they are still keeping in that vein of music.
And then for the first time ever, there was even a 30-second Travis Barker vocals section.
Yeah, which was insane. Why has he not been featured on tracks before?
I didn't even know, when I listened to the album, I didn't notice it was even him at first.
No.
I just thought, who's this?
I thought, who's this? And then I thought, oh, Mark or Tom sounds a bit weird. Like, it sounded more like Mark was just doing a bit of a weird voice or trying to something different.
Too much auto-tune.
And yeah. And then when, I think it was on the video that you saw that it was actually Travis that was doing that part. And it was like, oh, shit. Oh, it's him all along. Broken Sing.
But I'll move on to the next album anyway, because we could talk about Blink all day.
Yeah.
So the next album for me is from an artist called Bakar, who released his album.
Saw them at Leeds Fest.
Yeah, we did. It was called Halo, the album. I think it was. I feel like I wrote this in my notes and maybe wrote the name of one of the songs and didn't actually write the name of the album, so I just want to check. Yeah, Halo by Bakar is my next shout for album of the year. I think Bakar's an artist who... he's grown in popularity year on year massively. I saw him at Leeds Fest in 2022 and he was in a tent. And this year he had a huge crowd at Maiden Stage.
Really big crowd. And
I know that he's one of those that's picked up a lot of fans this year. I think the album overall was just solid from top to bottom. There was just like good vibes throughout. Bakar's one of those artists that every song puts you in a good mood. There's some kind of like love-related songs. There's some more emotional tunes. There's some about like him and his life and clearly experiences that he's been through. But I just thought from top to bottom, it was a fantastic album. And I think Bakar at the minute has gone from strength to strength. He's a relatively new artist and he's already got like 9 mil monthly listeners. He's been making songs for a while, but he still feels fresh and unique.
I was going to say, he's one of those artists that I've seen the name of a couple of times in the past, but only in like the last year or so has he actually fully, developed into somebody that people are constantly talking about. So I do hear him coming up more, and it's just nice to see. It's good to see new artists coming into the scene, and
it's a big album.
And especially with his style of music as well. It's not like it's something that's been done before. So he is bringing freshness to the scene, and new artists are always welcome. So
I just love it as well when an artist clearly puts effort into an album, like crafting the whole thing from top to bottom, not just 1 or 2 singles. Because I think it's easy to fall into that trap. And I know Bakar has had big singles that I think he gained a lot of his fans from. So to then be able to take a step back and create a good piece of work is really
I think the industry as a whole has lost touch of the art of albums, really. Like in terms of track lists and actually making them so they flow nicely, and there's a story throughout it, or it's like an overarching theme that you hear like the bits coming back. Like there was a really good Weezer album. I can't remember which one it was, but it was 2014, I think it was, and that had like a whole narrative throughout it, and you know, you heard repeating themes, the same kind of guitar riff came in different songs, and I feel like that kind of stuff's missed. So when artists nowadays do focus on that, the albums end up being 10 times better, and plus nobody fucking listens to albums anymore.
I try to.
No, I try to, but I feel like as a mass majority,
most
people are just
won't.
jumping onto a profile, clicking the top songs, and then boom, that's it. So
That's how it works. But what's your next album?
my next shout, it's a good one, Scaring the Hose.
Oh,
JPEG Mafia, Danny Brown collaboration project.
I completely forgot about that one, you know, and I've mentioned it on the pod before,
Yes,
and it just flew my mind.
Yeah. So this was a collab between Peggy and Danny Brown, and it was just so, both of their styles are so unique. Danny Brown's, like, the voice that he uses for rapping is so bizarre, but I love it personally. And then JPEG Mafia's beats and, you know, all that stuff. I mean, Danny Brown's beats as well are insane. So to have them both on a project together where they both worked on the beats and they both worked on the flows, you could tell.
It was half random as well, wasn't it? Like it kind of came out the blue.
Yeah. It wasn't. There was no like massive promotion for it. It was kind of I think
neither artist are like huge, but they're both very well respected by rap fans or like hip hop fans.
Yeah, so they're in the core of like rap and hip hop rather than being like most people wouldn't know who they were. But I think they released like a single from the album first, which made people go insane because we were like, oh my god, JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown.
What's going on
here? And then
here?
they hinted at an album, and it was like, holy shit, we're actually getting something good. And I think they used the Bloody Mary vape as the album cover or something, and it's, I don't know, it was a very bizarre thing to come out, but I'm very glad that it did.
And it did really well, like critically as well.
Yeah,
I know
it
that
did,
it got fantastic reviews from pretty much every music person that I know. Fantano really liked it, and I saw a lot of positive stuff on like TikTok, etc. So I think that they'll probably do another album.
I'd hope so. Yeah, I'd hope so, but I don't know if it would just be a situation where they were just like one and done. They just wanted to do it because they're so
surely though, when it's done so well, when
hope.
neither artist is huge, they would probably continue. Maybe like Run the Jewels, where them two were individual artists who were doing okay, but then when they got together as Run the Jewels, it ended up kind of exploding them, so they continued down that path.
Yeah,
so
I mean, maybe. I mean, we might see that. I mean, like you're saying, it would make sense if they were to do that kind of join powers.
Ooh, I hope they do. But I'll jump into the next album, and that is Sunburn by Dominic Fike. So I'm kind of 50. I know that it's weird that I've included this in my album list and then I'm going to slate it a little bit at the same time. I think this album was a little bit too long.
Okay.
There was maybe a few tracks on there that were just misses, but overall, it was still a top tier album. There were some good features on there as well. There was a song with Weezer on there that absolutely banged.
Fucking hell.
And it was actually the full band. It wasn't just like one member of
when they say
Weezer.
featuring Weezer and it's not.
Yeah. So that was it was called Think Fast. That was a belter. And then just Dominic Fike, he's had like EPs and albums before that have done well, but I feel like this is the first one where he's in the mainstream and there's a lot of expectation on his shoulders at this point after having done well for years. And this album still hit. And he very clearly went in the direction that he wanted to go in. It wasn't like manufactured in many ways. And there was a lot of acoustic songs on there, which is clearly what he wants to do. So it's nice to see an artist sticking to their guns and still creating overall a banging album that has like 6 or 7 bangers on. So big ups to Dominic Fike.
Especially as he's reaching those heights as
well, because he's reached them now. He's got like loads of monthly listeners and he was in that Euphoria TV show.
Oh, true.
So he's here, there and everywhere, but it's just sometimes that can then make an artist kind of steer away from what they want to do, but it clearly wasn't the case with him. So
one of those musicians that likes making music and it's obvious in that, rather than doing it maybe a bit more for the money than
And I saw everyone used to laugh because in that Euphoria TV show there was a song that he'd made in there and there was a scene of him performing it and everyone was like, that was the worst scene in the whole show. It was the longest scene. Why we sat watching him with an acoustic guitar and he put something out a couple of weeks back saying that it wasn't actually meant to sound like that at all, but the producers just made him do it acoustically and perform the whole thing, so he didn't want to.
Yeah. It just said, no, you've got
like,
to do
fuck
it.
you, actually.
Yeah, actually, you're gonna. If you're gonna be on this show, get your fucking guitar out.
And he's one that I definitely think will get added to some UK festivals for next year as well. Maybe.
Has he been on the scene recently?
He toured for the first ever time in the UK not long ago, so he was banned for battery of a police officer.
Oh, fucking hell.
But he did it when he was like 15, and there was like a whole backstory to it.
Jeez, battery at 15.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking big lad.
But he's not either. It didn't make no sense.
That's bizarre.
So he did a UK tour. I went to see him in Manchester, but that makes me think that next year he'll probably get added. I could maybe see him. Like Reading and Leeds would make sense, but I could definitely see him at like Glasgow and maybe Boardies, maybe Boardmasters.
I was going to say they seem more like the vibe that he'd end up going for. Especially, I tend to find that acts that have blown up in pretty quick amount of time, Glasgow is usually the one that ends up getting them. Yeah. I don't know why, it just seems to be that way.
But no, he's not blown up quickly, to be fair. His first like big song was in like 2018.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, what's it called? It's going to annoy me. You'll definitely know it because it's
I felt like with his name and from what I know of him that it was recent, but I guess I've only just found out about him recently.
3 nights at the motel under street lights in the city.
Nah.
Call me what you want if you want and you want.
Is it a TikTok song?
Nah, it's got like 900 million listens though.
Fucking hell, jeez.
But enough Dominic Fike. Yeah. What is your next pick for album of the year?
This is my next and final pick because this year I would argue is like a bit. We're missing out on a lot of good album releases this year, in my opinion. We've had some good singles. There's been a lot of decent songs that have come out, but in terms of full albums that were good,
yeah, I'd agree.
We're lacking. So I'm going to go with, well, this is perhaps the busiest man in the rap industry this year, and it's Quaranta by Danny Brown, which was an album. I think he released it last month.
You're on that Danny Brown hype here.
I always have been, man. I'm a big Danny Brown fan. I think it's just because of his weirdness and, you know,
his podcast is fucking jokes.
Yeah.
Like big ups to the Danny Brown podcast.
Yeah,
like, I've seen clips of that
great.
and it's so
He's
funny.
Such a funny guy. I love him. But on this album, it seems like he's calmed down a lot. He's using his own voice a lot more. He's not putting on the voice, which again I like it. But so it's easier listening, and it's refreshing to hear him spitting bars in a style that isn't over the top and, you know, exaggerated, and to hear him actually flowing with his own lyrics, because it feels more like
it's like natural.
Yeah, and you can kind of relate to the lyrics a bit more, and it feels more real, like he actually.
Yeah, I think
not that he didn't think he meant what he was saying before, but this feels a bit more emotionally led. It's all about it's kind of themed around quarantine and you know that side of things. So I think it is a bit more of an emotionally felt album.
I think if it feels forced, it's harder to get into it properly.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah, it's probably a positive move.
And I think after doing Scaring the Hose, maybe he was like, right, I've gone fucking fully off the rails.
I've gone apeshit.
Yeah, so he's like, right, I need to bring it back down to earth. I'll just do an album of me doing my normal style, and we'll just come out. Which I don't even know if I've heard Danny rapping in his normal voice till this album.
I've never really heard him be chill at all.
I put it on. The first song, I think it's called Quarantine or something to that effect. And it started out and I was like, holy shit, Danny Brown's, this is his voice. Jesus Christ, this is fucking sick.
The fuck?
Yeah. That's all I have to say about that, really. There's not too much. Like I say, it kind of one thrown in at the end.
Do you know what? That's one I'll have to check out, because I did listen to Scaring the Hose a couple of times, but I've not listened to his new solo
really good,
album.
worth a listen.
I'll give it a go. I've got two more. I'll jump through these a little bit quicker because I don't know quite as much about them as the other two. Anyway, the first one is Why Would I Watch by Hot Mulligan. A relatively unknown pop punk band. I suppose in the scene that they're in, they're known,
yeah,
but not widely known.
Yeah.
But I think the album was really solid. Again, I don't know if it had quite as much of an album feel as some of the other ones I've mentioned, but there was a lot of good tracks on there. And I just love a bit of like old school cringy type pop punk. And they're the kings at that, Hot Mulligan. I seen them live and it was exactly what you'd expect it to be.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why they've stayed as prominent as they are in the scene that they're in, but they're not expanded out?
Yeah, because they've not tried to chase fame, and I reckon they could, because they've clearly got a lot of good riffs, and there's some songs that are a little bit that aren't far off, like the UK indie scene, for example.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's clearly not what they want to do, and they stick to what they want to do and throw the odd little scream in there and screech. And
I prefer it.
Yeah,
I prefer that.
I like it, and I think this album was fantastic. They stuck to their guns. It was another banger, and a lot of the songs performed, at least on streaming, performed really well, more so than some of the previous records. So you know, UK tour was practically sold out, the whole thing. Maybe they will keep moving up the pop punk ranks. I know that they're supporting Fall Out Boy on the US tour next year, which
US
is huge
as well.
for them.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
big ups to them.
Yeah.
And then the second one is another pop punk band who did, I would say, not really a pop punk record at all, and it's This Is Why by Paramore.
Oh, right, yeah. I forgot about that.
That was this year. I enjoyed the album. I think there was, for me, I more enjoyed the singles. But I can appreciate as an album, it was really good, but it was maybe a little bit more down the like experimental pop route.
Yeah. I mean, have been doing that for a little while now.
Exactly, but it's not 100% to my taste. But I can appreciate it as a good album. And when we saw the songs live, they were really good.
Yeah, they were. And it's one of those where they're clearly trying out new stuff, but I do feel like it's not even them trying to fit a demographic.
No, it's just what they want to do.
Want to, because they've been around for so fucking long. They're at the point now that we can't just keep doing Misery Business over and over again. And, you know, I like that they're swapping it up. It's not personally for me. I'm not a massive fan of the songs that they're releasing, the style they're going for, but I do appreciate that they're doing it and, you know, at least trying something.
You got to give it a go, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, yeah, This Is Why. Let's move on to the songs.
Oh, here we go, songs. I'll let you go first.
I'll skip. I already said Dance With Me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to skip it. And I'm actually going to go with the first one is a Fred Again, Skrillex and Fortet collaboration. Called Baby Again.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that this was a belter from earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And I think it perfectly encapsulated that hype around Fortet, Fred Again and Skrillex's combo, where they did Madison Square Garden. And
why have they not got a name for them?
they did. It was called like TBD or something.
Fredilix test.
No, because when they did Coachella as step-in headliners last minute, their name was TBD, as in to be decided. But then I think they've used that in one or two other ways. It was TBC. Anyway, it was something along those lines.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a really good song in general, and I liked that phase because I remember watching the Coachella set, and yeah, it's just three top-tier artists collabing for a banger of a tune.
Yeah, I mean, it goes on nicely to my first choice, which is a Skrillex, Fred Again, and Flowdan track, Rumble.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't get over it.
I would agree with you, but that came out last year.
No, we never did it.
Yeah,
It dropped. Did it?
yeah, because I looked at that. That was going to be my pick.
It dropped on Skrillex's album this year. As a single, it might have dropped at the end of last year.
I think so. Anyway,
I don't know, because I checked as well. It said 2023 for me because I was like, is Rumble in that? I thought, no, surely not. And then I checked and it said 2023.
Oh no, maybe 2023. Yeah, 4th of January. It says.
Yeah.
I swear I looked earlier.
No, I think the single might have dropped. Is that the single that you've got?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, I was wrong. Sorry for insulting you.
No, it's all right. Don't worry. I wasn't insulted.
I just keep getting things wrong.
Skrillex dropped it on his album later in the year.
Right.
But I did, now that you said that.
Oh, well, I
did
would have
think
picked
it might
Rumble
have dropped.
instead.
Yeah, it's a good track. Yeah, great track. Yeah. But yeah, Skrillex, Fred Again, Flowdan, amazing combo. Fortet, could have thrown him in there. Would have made it even better probably, but.
Yeah. Well, no, it was already a belter, wasn't it? I think Rumble, it was like a song of the year for us as well. Because when it came out, we were hyped for it.
As fuck.
It's one of those where I turned my speakers up as loud as they go and sat like...
Yeah, every fucking time. Yeah, it's not that I'm waiting for.
No. And then I'll move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And that is a return of what I would call one of the better of the more modern pop punk bands in the story so far.
Oh.
With their only new song, I think in about 5 years, Big Blind. Just a great pop punk song. Yeah. I think it's under 3 minutes, which is rare for modern tunes.
Yeah.
But it's just fantastic.
I mean, that is epitome of pop punk.
Yeah, I just love it though, because it's them. Do you know when you hear a song and you're like, this is fucking the story so far, and it is just exactly what they're meant to be?
Yeah.
And it's their return after so long. I think they're one of those like coveted bands where the lead singer had been through quite a lot, and you could tell he was kind of falling out of love with music. So for them to come back and create a big hitting banger like this, I'm looking forward to an eventual album.
It kind of makes you think that hopefully he's come back into music then.
Yeah.
Because with this being so their style, it almost feels like they must have had the whole band behind it creating it. So hopefully
exactly
it's
that.
dragged him back in.
Yeah, big ups to the story
maybe it was something where he was like, look guys, we're going to have to go back to, I've fallen out of love. Let's go back to the basics. Let's do what we're good at. And then they hit it again, because they might have been falling down the trap that a lot of artists have of let's diversify, let's change up our shit. And the vocalist probably gone,
Yeah.
not feeling this.
Come on, the story so far. We'd
Come
love
on.
to see it. What's your next one?
My next one, I'm gonna flip it around a bit. I've got them in a different order. I'm gonna go with More Than You Know, Blink-182.
Oh,
yeah. I really like that track. More Than You Know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something about that track really like resonates with me. I don't know. I think it's when it kicks into the More Than You Know that it's a great track. That's all I've got to say.
It is.
There's no, I
it
can't
feels
think
a
of
bit,
how to express it.
It feels a bit like angsty in a way. It's like bam, bam. It feels like rushed.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, which I do quite like.
And I liked it. It's got a bit more. It's a bit of aggression in it. Whereas like Edging's cool and it's a fun song and I love it, but this one felt more like
serious, but
felt a bit more like self-titled. You know what I mean? Where it was a bit angsty and a bit, there was a bit of emotion in it. And
I do like that one. That is one of the songs from the new album that made it onto my playlist.
I mean, all the songs.
Not all of them did for me.
Not all of them in the playlist, but all the songs were bangers.
I actually really weirdly like Childhood, and I know it's a shit song, and it's kind of like
I won't judge you.
I just like that cringiness
I don't
sometimes.
hate it.
I've only got one more song on my list,
and
it is "Lost" by Linkin Park. So Linkin Park released some songs from the Hybrid Theory era, I think, or maybe even Meteora
Archives or something. It's called
that had never been released, and I loved that era of Linkin Park, and they're one of my all-time favorite bands. And it was just like a song that could have been on one of their old albums, and I've played it quite a lot, and I just really enjoy it. I wish there was more Lost songs. But
I mean, there's a chance there might be.
Yeah, at least we've got some, and at least they chose to release it.
Yeah,
and it's just great to hear a new Chester Bennington song when you thought that probably never happened. Yeah. So that's my last pick for Song of the Year.
Okay, so I've got four
more
here.
Damn.
Yeah. It's been a big year for singles, not for albums. Really good one. Chasing Status, Ira, and our fucking good mate Flo Dan. Badadan. Yeah, I just think that tune is Chasing Status personified. Like you're saying about Story so far, this was like Chasing Status have been releasing stuff for the past couple of years, and there've been no big releases. It's been like, they did the Boiler Room, they've done little bits and bats that have, they've peaked on the charts, they've hit a couple of strides, but I think this was kind of the return to, right, we're back, here we go. It felt like they were back. Yeah. Do
you know, I actually don't really like it that much. I like it, but I've seen it on TikTok that many times, it's ruined it for me.
I don't use TikTok, so
it's actually ruined it.
Saved it from
every
me.
couple of videos. I say badadan.
It's that bit I love. It's Flow Down.
No, I like it.
Don't
but
you just?
do you know when you just? It triggers me now.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I know what you mean. There's a couple
I know
of songs
it's a good song, but I just can't get down with it anymore.
The one that used to get me, but then I stopped hearing it, and now I like it. Is All My Fellas. Do you know that? All My Fellas. Everybody on TikTok will know All My Fellas.
All My Fellas?
Yeah. All My Fellas.
Just because you do it again doesn't mean it's going to...
Well, there's no other fucking
I don't know what it is.
Song. What? I don't know what you want me to do.
All My Fellas. Who are your fellas? Oh, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you mean All My Fellas?
All My Fellas.
Oh, look. What do you mean All My Fellas? Oh, All My Fellas.
All right, what's the next song?
Right, okay, yeah. We've got the Cobra Rock remix by Megan Thee Stallion and Spirit Box. That was fucking insane. So, hearing Megan Thee Stallion rapping in a style that was more aggressive and more punchy over a rock beat brought me back to when Anthrax and Public Enemy did a little collab back in like the 90s, and it really felt like those kind of metal and rock collabs
that have died,
back.
really.
Yeah, basically. And this just fucking smacks you in the face. And I think it must have come on DJ as like here's some songs you might like. We'll play you some random crap. And that came on. And I went,
you were like, yeah, I do.
What the fuck is this? And I looked at it, it was Megan Thee Stallion. I was like, go on, fucking come on. We've got Pack a Lunch by Prof and Redman. Not too many people know that track.
I don't have a clue.
Yeah, Prof's a very low-key kind of guy, but it was an amazing track. Redman, can't fault Redman.
I've heard of Redman.
Wu-Tang.
Oh, there you go.
And then Realist by Easy Mill featuring the one and only Eminem.
Damn.
And the reason for that is because it's the only track that M's released as a feature on this year.
Oh, damn.
But this Easy Mill is somebody that he co-signed recently. He's got him onto... He's the only artist in recent history to sign to Interscope, Shady Records, and the other one. So he signed to all three of the labels.
Fire.
So he's got potential.
He's backing in
the track. I mean, it's a good track. I I don't mind Easy Meals rapping, but M's flow on it was different and cool, and I liked it. So yeah, that's my shouts for songs of 2023.
Right. So where do you want to go next? Because I'm thinking, do we go gigs? Do we go gigs? Keep it on the music route, or do we keep it on the like? These are the best specific things.
We do that,
and then we do gigs at the end as like our year recap.
And,
All right. Cool. So should we go films next? Or shows?
Shows, because there's less, and then we'll jump on
shows.
films. Yeah.
I'll jump in first. I've only got 2 shows. I'll keep this bit quick, to be honest, because I feel like I've not really watched much TV this year in a weird way. The first one is, I think this might have started coming out in 2022, but ended in 2023, and that is The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah. I think that was this year. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed The Last of Us. I never actually completed the games. I know they were fantastic and massively critically acclaimed, but I thought the TV show was really good. I like Pedro Pascal in practically everything he's in. And it was just like it was an easy watch, but not too easy. Like it still had me hooked, but I didn't feel like I was mega stressed, which I quite like when I'm just trying to chill and watch a TV show. So The Last of Us is my first
Apparently it did a relatively good job of sticking to the source material as well. But I guess you wouldn't know too much if you didn't complete the game. But
but people who played the game seem to really enjoy the TV show.
Yeah, that's it. And I think as long as you're satisfying the core fan base.
And I just love a good zombie show as well.
Yeah.
Like obviously, the first, it's sad. The first few seasons of The Walking Dead was so good, and then it dropped off quick. It was fantastic up until about Negan coming in, and then it just started to die off, in my opinion.
I never really got into it, you know.
Oh, I rated it for the first few seasons.
I tried the first season a couple of times. It was the same as Game of Thrones. Couldn't get into that either. It's one of those where people say, try it, and you're like, I've done the first season multiple times. It gets better on season 4. I'm not watching 4 seasons
I'm not getting to season 4.
I still don't like it. Like, I'm not doing it. And
what is your first pick?
So my first pick is Gen V, because that was a fucking belter of a show.
Oh, I've not seen that, you know.
Have you watched The Boys?
I've watched The Boys.
The Boys, yeah. So you need to watch.
Was the last season of The Boys last year?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I would have picked that otherwise, because that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good. But Gen V is essentially it's like an academy for the soups that they're like bringing up, and it's to like, it follows the story of a couple of the students there, and I don't want to give too much away. They're unveiling secrets about Compound V and all the stuff from the mainline series, and then right towards the end, it starts to tie back into The Boys. So it's clear that, the stuff that happens in the show of Gen V is going to have some effect on the main line, which I kind of hoped they wouldn't do, because that feels like a Marvel move of you have to watch all of our shows.
A bit long.
But I think they can also skirt around it and kind of make it so that if you just watch The Boys, they can go, here's this magical thing that happened off
Oh, yeah,
site.
you can just quickly recap it and then everyone knows.
And it'll be for the fans of Gen V, they go, oh, that was that thing.
And if Gen V is actually good, I don't mind it as much. The problem with the Marvel stuff is half the shows are shit.
Yes.
So it's not the same vibe.
You don't want to watch it. Yeah. But yeah, Gen V, fantastic show. If you've not seen it, if you watch The Boys, watch it.
Do you know, I might watch that next. I need something new to watch.
It's a lot more. It feels like The Boys meets Euphoria in the way that there's a lot of like, it's in college, but there's a lot of that kind of like lovey-dovey scenes and will they, won't they kind of bollocks. But overall, it's clearly made by but there's insane shit that happens. Arguably more insane shit that happens in that than the last season of The Boys. And I know that sounds insane to say, but you just if you watch it, you'll know what I mean.
The Boys is a brutal show as well.
There's a scene with the girl who goes tiny. And I don't need to say more, because you can think of anything that could happen with that.
Oh, nah.
End of.
Yeah, Marvel, you know what to do with Ant-Man next time. Get him inside someone's uterus. Anyway, let's go on to my next show, and that is what I thought was a very unique show. I think it was a Netflix-made one, or they at least picked it up, and it's called Beef.
Seen that?
I thought it was really cool.
I've not seen it. I've seen.
Yeah, so it was practically the story was 2 people that get into an altercation, and then they try to like one up each other as revenge, and it obviously goes way too far, and there's loads of like twisting sidelines and stuff that are going on throughout the show. But it just felt really good. Like watching it, I was like, oh, I've not seen it like this ever, which to me is all you really want with a TV show, at least after you've watched 17 Marvel shows and 5 Star Wars shows in a row. It's quite nice to watch something unique. So yeah, Beef is my second pick. If you haven't checked it out, it's on Netflix. Go give it a watch. I'm sure most people would enjoy it.
I think I'm going to give it a watch.
Yeah, I think you'd rate it.
In doing a bit of research for this, I saw that come up multiple times, and I was like, oh shit, yeah,
it is good.
Yeah. So my second shout, again, only got 2 shouts. I don't really watch TV anyway, So the only time I watch TV shows is if somebody highly recommends it, or it's based on a TV show that I've already watched, a la Gen V. And it's What We Do in the Shadows. And you might have heard of this, but you might not have seen it. So it's a FX show. It's on Disney Plus, and its 5th season was this year, and they've been renewed last year for 5th and 6th. So there's another season coming out next year. And I didn't know of this show. I knew of this show for a long time, and I knew that it was a film in like 2013 that then got made into a TV series. Everybody always told me, it was a good show, but nobody ever told me to watch it. It's filmed in the kind of style of The Office where it's like a mockumentary. So it's a documentary team, so they're always there, and they're in a house full of vampires. And there's things such as there's one that's an energy vampire, and he gets his powers by draining people. So we go into board meetings.
Slapping in the viaduct toilets all over again.
Not draining in that way. In a way that, like, you know, he'll go into a board meeting and then he'll make out that the microphone's not working and it pisses people off and he drains them that way.
Right.
And it's got Matt Berry in it, if you know Matt Berry. IT Crowd. There's the boss.
I've never seen IT Crowd.
You'll know
I'd
Matt
know his
Berry if you
face.
see him,
All right.
yeah. And he just he doesn't carry. In fact, no, he doesn't carry the show. Every character
He's good.
I would say I
you like
enjoy
Matt Berry?
all of the 4 main characters like massively, but Matt Berry just sells it because it's Matt Berry. Yeah. But I would highly recommend watching that show.
Do you have to watch all of the seasons to watch this good one?
No, they're all the show was
individual.
a fucking whole. Like I only found out about it this year. Yeah. But this season was amazing as well. Season 5. But I only watched it. I've watched it all in the past 2 weeks, so it's very fresh, and it's gripping. Like it's so fucking funny. Every I don't know 10
5 seasons in 2 weeks.
So. Yeah.
Fucking hell, bro.
Yeah, I've dedicated me, man.
But I said I don't watch much TV anymore.
When I find something I like, I fucking watch it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, recommend that to anybody who's not seen it.
I'll check it. I have got a shout actually. Ooh. And this is for the most disappointing TV show of the year.
Okay.
Just because it popped into my head when I was doing when I was thinking about which shows I wanted to include in this list, the best of, I thought this is one that I thought would have been in there, but having watched it, I was super upset, and that is Black Mirror.
Not good.
The new season
wasn't Aaron Paul in it?
Yeah, he was in it. Yeah. But like, I've really enjoyed every single season of Black Mirror up to the new one. It didn't really do out for me. There was 1 or 2 of the, I think it was 6 episodes that I thought, that was all right. But the rest of it was rubbish.
Is it down to the premises being shit? Or is it just the show being shit? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I think the thing that carried Black Mirror was the fact that the episodes that they did were like, what
no, because some of the ideas were quite cool, but it just seemed like it was a bit half thought through.
Right.
Like they didn't really put as much energy into the individual storylines as they should have done. They thought like, this is cool, this will carry it, but it didn't. Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it was the biggest disappointment for me of the year, for sure.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I don't really have a disappointment. I think
you are the disappointment. Right, let's move on to films.
I hate when you do that. You cut me off.
What's one of your shouts for films?
So my shouts for films, it was one that came out recently, October time, I think. Saw 10, whatever you want to call it.
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Haven't
seen it.
I hadn't seen it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, never seen it.
Are you the fucking grammar police or something?
Well, no, you say never seen it for a movie that's been out for like fucking 20 years, not a movie that came out a month ago. Never seen it.
Yeah, but I did hear that it was good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it took place between Saw 1 and Saw 2, so you didn't have to watch every single fucking Saw movie. Yeah. And
are you a Saw guy?
Yeah, I quite like it. Yeah.
Probably see a doctor about that.
He's good, isn't he? Yeah, fucking hell.
I feel like I threw you off.
You really threw me off, yeah. There's things
Come on, bro. That was good.
You can't say that on a podcast, Tim. Fucking keep that one in. Yeah, it was really fucking Jesus Christ. Yeah, it took place between 1 and 2. Yeah. So, and it had all the good characters back again. It had, the old man and the woman. Again, this is how big of a Saw fan I am. I know it.
The old man and the woman.
The old man and the woman.
Them legendary characters.
The legendary characters. The original Saw man, John fucking whatever his name is, and the woman, Amanda, whatever her name is. So seeing them back, the traps that they had, the premise of it is insane. It's all about his cancer treatment, and it's like a scenario where he's getting shafted, essentially. And it's this whole thing, not literally. Fucking, you can't leave it 2 seconds. Can you just call me?
You said he's getting shafted. How did you expect me to take that? What is it?
I didn't expect you to take a shafting at all, Joe. To be honest with you.
Anyway, carry on.
That's not what I'm saying.
To be fair, I would expect if we were talking about any film for it to go rogue, it'd be Saw, because it is pretty fucked up. It is,
yeah. And so the premise of it is a bit backwards in the way that it's not so much... He's getting shafted backwards, and it's not so much that it's people that he's trapped for reasons that are out of, oh, you shot a dog, why'd you do that? It's more like immediate reaction to things that happen in that same film.
Right, yeah.
It's really well written, and I really recommend it.
I've seen the first couple of Saws back in the day.
That's enough to watch Saw 10.
And then I didn't see any of them up to Jigsaw, which I went to the cinema for, and it was shit.
Yeah, so Jigsaw and the other one, like
Chris
puzzle
Rock
piece or something shit like that.
Yeah.
It's basically, it's from the police's side, and they're doing it more as an investigation as to who Jigsaw is and that. It's a shitty spin-off.
I would like to see that, though. When it's on a streaming service or something, I'll definitely give it a watch.
That,
I'm going to stick with the horror film theme for my first shout. Right. And this is one that I think, I can't remember seeing a better horror film than this, maybe my whole life, but it's definitely the best one I've seen since I was a kid and things were more scary. And it's called Talk to Me. Yeah. I had to check it was. You looked at me like I never...
I've never heard of it.
Well, no, it was like a relatively independently made film by 2 Australian directors. I think it technically came out in 2022, but it got cinema release in 2023 after film festivals and stuff, rated it massively. It was fucking unbelievable, mate. It was so gory, but not in like a just gory for gory's sake, in like a that's fucking horribly rancid way. I think it honestly, I don't know if there's a better horror film I've ever seen than Talk to Me. Really? So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And it didn't have a huge budget. You could tell it didn't. It was just really well made. And there was some bits I was sat watching it like, whoa, that's bad. And you were thinking, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what's going on? Why? I don't want to spoil it in any way.
It's difficult to talk about shit like this, isn't it? Yeah, because you don't want to ruin the whole fucking premise. But the premise is what makes it a good film. So you got to decide whether you want to spoil it or not.
Nah, I'm not going to spoil it, but watch Talk to Me. What's your next shout?
Oppenschloppenheimer.
Oh, I've got that on there.
Hell yeah. That was a fucking great film.
Belting film.
Doesn't feel like 3.5 hours or whatever it is. It feels about 20 minutes and you go, fuck, it's done.
I'm looking forward to watching it again, actually.
Yeah, I think I am too, yeah. Yeah, when it comes onto streaming services.
I love how you say I'm off-putting and then I say, what's your next pick? And you say Oppenschloppen.
Well, I was going to just go with Sloppenheimer, to be honest with you. Sloppy Toppenheimer.
But I don't think it's really one we need to jump into that much. Everyone knows it's a good film.
It's a great film.
I did think it was a tiny bit too long, but not to an offensive level.
Yeah, I don't. The crazy thing about that film was how well under wraps they kept all the fucking cameos. Yeah. Seeing Josh Peck rock up with a fucking nuke button under his finger, you're like, what the fuck's going on here? Like,
Go to your film.
10 out of 10. With Matt Damon just making an appearance as well, just randomly. It's like, what the fuck?
I don't even remember that.
He was the Colonel, man. Yeah.
I'm shit with actors, me, bro. I know him by face,
he looks nothing like what, because he's got a mustache and he's gained weight and his face is entirely different. So it took me a second to be like, is that Matt Damon? Did you get that reference?
No.
But Team America. You seen Team America? You not seen Team America?
No, what's Team America?
The puppets. Well, it's made by the South Park creators. America, fuck yeah.
I don't know it, definitely.
That's mad. You need to, I don't know how you've not seen that. You need to watch that.
Sorry, bro. I didn't really like South Park.
Well, it wasn't really South Park. There's a scene in it where puppets throw up, and there's also a puppet sex scene. So if you're into that, give it a watch.
Send me that link, baby. My next one is one I think you might have on here, actually, and I think it's probably the only good Marvel film from the last 6.
I know which one this is then.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that it's by far the best out of any Marvel trilogy now. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could say Spider-Man, but that cheated.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count. It's his own thing. Yeah.
Guardians was top tier. That fight scene where they're on the ship and they're going through that corridor. Oh, bro.
What about when at the end of the fight scene where fucking Adam Warlock comes out?
Yeah.
And you think that it's all fucked, and then you're like, oh my God, he's here. Yeah.
Such a good film.
So good. I was worried going into it because, like you're saying, Guardian of the Galaxy being such a good franchise, and I love it so much. It could have been shot with the run that they've had prior to Guardians 3. Holy fuck.
I don't know if I've spoke about this, but I went to see the new is it Miss Marvel? The new one. What's it called? The Marvels. It's fucking horribly bad. It's disgustingly bad. Mm-hmm. I actually think that it's probably my least favourite Marvel film ever. Ever. And I've seen fucking Ghost Rider.
And Eternals.
Yeah. It's worse than Eternals.
Fucking hell.
Genuinely it is.
I got 2/3 of that movie and turned it off. And like people are like, why don't you just finish it? I'm like, because
I didn't hate that as much as the Marvels.
It was too weird for me seeing people like Angelina Jolie just popping up and shit like that. It seemed too A-listy to then for me to be able to go, oh,
Harry
it's a
Styles at the end.
superhero. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
What's your next shout?
Make it to the end. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. No. Super Mario.
I haven't seen that, you know.
It was a good film.
Not
a lot of people online didn't like it because they said, oh, it doesn't go into the... It's a fucking kids film.
What do you mean Mario fan service?
Made by the fucking people who made the Minions movies. It's Illumination.
It's for children.
Literally.
If you're upset about fucking Princess Peach not getting blasted in the film, then you need to chill out. But I would like to see that at some point for sure. I meant killed then.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
You started like I meant like killed. Kidnapped, brutally murdered.
What the fuck? There's a different side of this now. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Princess Peach.
It was really easy watching, and because it's a fucking kids film, and it's an easy 90 minutes. Chris Pratt is surprisingly not as offensively bad as Mario as you'd expect him to be.
I didn't think he would be.
Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong is a cool casting. It's just Seth Rogen talking to Seth Rogen. He even does the Seth Rogen laugh. And apparently when he went in, he was like, what voice you want me to do? And they went, oh, no. Your voice is what we want for Donkey Kong, so we didn't have to do anything. But, and then Anya Taylor-Joy is Peach. And Bowser, fucking Jack Black. That's what sells the fucking thing. And he's got the whole Peaches song in it.
That Peaches song was everywhere.
It's a really fun movie, really easy to watch. I really enjoyed it,
I definitely need to watch it. Yeah. I wanted to at the time, but I just couldn't go cinema.
In fact, there's one section in it where they're kind of like doing this competition where it's like, gladiator style, and they're inside an arena and all this shit. And that part, I was genuinely like captivated. I was like, oh, what's going to happen? And for a kids movie, I was like,
shit. You were actually into it.
Yeah.
I thought that with Toy Story 3, to be fair, as well.
It's a good film.
Yeah, I liked all the Toy Story. But the newer one, I thought. Was it 4?
4 was
I meant 4. I quite like 4.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. I like them all, like I say, but yeah.
I've only got one more shout.
I've got one more.
Well, I've actually got 2. So I'll mention one quickly because I don't know if I'd quite put it in my film of the year. Like, I couldn't debate it to be number 1, but it was good. And that's Air, the film about Nike picking up Michael Jordan.
Yeah, about the guy who took a risk on him and they were like, what the fuck are you doing?
I really like films like that, like The Social Network and The Founder, and I thought Air was along that ilk.
Was The Founder the Jobs one?
The McDonald's one.
Oh, right,
yeah. I just thought it was a great film. It was really interesting to see the thought process and inner workings behind how they put that deal together and how much it changed Michael Jordan's life in the end. Because it's still a brand that you see all the time. I think it's like the second best selling trainer in the world, maybe number 1 now. Kanye is locked up.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just a really good film. And then my last shout is another horror film that I watched at the start of the year and thought it was really good, and that is Evil Dead Rise.
Yes, and Sam Raimi. Again, isn't it? Yeah,
and I generally think most horror films are shit now, so I'm impressed that there's been 2 good ones this year. I feel like that needed a mention.
Evil Dead's franchise is just fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
And if it's Sam Raimi at the helm, it's his baby, and he's not going to let it get fucked up by anybody.
It's my baby.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. In fact, he even had Bruce Campbell as a cameo in the Spider-Man. The pizza ball salesman. That's the guy from Evil Dead.
Oh, man.
Because it's Sam Raimi who directed them both.
But
I have one last shout, and it's for shiteness, and it's Ant-Man.
Oh,
I fucking hated Ant-Man. I was so upset with Ant-Man. They brought back MODOK. Well, they brought in MODOK into the MCU for the first time.
Don't be a dick.
What do you mean? Oh, fuck off. I forgot about that as well. Oh, God. That film just infuriated the fuck out of me. Paul Rudd carried the shit out of that. That girl that is his daughter or his whatever
Awful.
the fuck. She cannot act. They have no on-screen chemistry at all. You can tell Paul Rudd's like, fucking deliver your lines properly, you dumb bitch. And it's just it's bad. It's bad. It ruined the whole film for me. It did.
It was a particularly poor film. I thought as well, having Kang in there as such a fantastic villain could have been 10 out of 10.
Why the fuck would you set up what would have been their next major villain in the MCU
with that
in a film that shit? And to have the end credit scene where it's the Council of Kang in that film. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
It was so bad, so disappointingly bad. But I had one more shout on here for a similar reason. A franchise of films that I don't know how the fuck they are still making is Fast and Furious.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah.
How the fuck is there still new Fast and Furious films coming out in 2023?
know.
They make money as well. Who actually enjoys the new Fast and Furious films?
You know what it is? Because there's no other film with fast cars, explosions, and stunts and shit. There is no other franchise that does it.
I mean, there was a new shit Transformers film this year as well.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't count, though, does it?
No,
Really?
but I just don't understand. I only think that it continues because it's an easy film to take a date on, or your missus, because you know she's not going to be offended, because it's like, zoom, he's doing the Rock Johnson.
I mean, that's essentially what it is, and its core fan base is just people zoomy fast car explosions.
It's shit, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
All of them are shit.
Yeah, but it's in the same way that Saw carried on for as long as it did. It just keyed into the key demographic of gore lovers. So the only people that were seeing the newer Saw movies are people that like seeing people get decapitated and shit. Same with Fast and Furious. It only keeps going because people like seeing big cars. And there's no other film with a budget that matches it. No other film can fly a fucking Mustang GT off a cliff and just be like, yeah, it's just part of the budget.
I pray that it ends
Yeah,
soon.
me too.
I don't think it will, though.
Family. Maybe it's Vin Diesel carrying it. Maybe he doesn't get any. I haven't seen him in any other movies in a while. Maybe he is funding the creation of these films.
Maybe he needs to stop it, whatever he's doing. But yeah, I think the Fast and Furious, it's time to go.
Fast and fuck off.
Yeah. Let's move on to Us.
Yeah. Let's move on to Us. Fuck Vin Diesel.
I mean, this will be coming out just before the end of the year, but you know, it's been an interesting year. What's been your highlight personally for 2023?
One highlight.
Well, just go. Well, yeah, we'll bounce off each other.
I was gonna say, because there's so many things that have happened this year, and I've kind of made it a point to go to more events and more gigs and stuff this year. And I mean, overall, I've done maybe like 20 plus different events and gigs this year as a whole. And some of the best ones were things I'd never gone to before. Like, for example, I went to a live podcast for Off Menu, which is Ed Gamble and James Acaster.
Yeah.
Insanely good. So much better than I thought it would be. The guest they had was Lucy Beaumont, who was John Richardson's wife.
Okay.
And it was just fucking amazing. And then seeing Steve-O doing his multimedia tour, that was another different thing. These were like unique experiences. And it was just, the crazy part of that was seeing Steve-O actually seeing
in real life,
in the real,
and then the after thing where he jumped into the crowd. That was even better,
yeah,
cool,
because I fucking touched him multiple times. I was holding his whole weight at one fucking point because everybody pissed off. He was stage diving and shit.
I hope Princess Peach does a live tour.
What's up with you and Princess Peach?
Sorry, carry on.
What the fuck's going on, man?
Carry on. Sorry.
Were you the people that were mad at the Mario movie?
No, I loved it.
One of those people.
I hadn't seen it, so I can't comment.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what?
I've got more. I just wanted to give a taste.
I've spoke about this a few times, and this is kind of a deep statement, but I actually am slightly worried that I'll never beat this year. I think this year has been the best year of my life.
That's a bold claim.
The amount of things that I've done, and like because of the spare money I've had due to still having enough disposable income to practically do what I want, I don't think I'll ever be able to top this year. Like multiple full weekend festivals, one of them abroad.
Shit, yeah. Earlier this year, you were on a fucking
hype like for that, I did Rock Worcher, Truck Festival, Leeds Festival, and then I did Live at Leeds for the day, Park Life for the day. Like I class Arctic Monkeys outdoor gig as kind of a day thing, and the weekend at the Etihad is kind of a day thing. So that's like 7 major events.
That's big.
And then I've done a couple of little trips away. Went to Milan, which was really cool. Lake Como, which is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. And then the America trip. Like going to 3 different places in America is a once-in-a-lifetime holiday.
That was fucking mad.
But I've also done that with like a once-in-a-lifetime summer for me, going to so many things. And I feel like I've done it with such great people. Like I've had different memories with different people. My brother going to a festival abroad was sick. And like seeing you at Leeds Fest, seeing like a few of the other boys at Leeds Fest, and then yeah, it's just been incredible. I'm fucking in a good relationship for the first time ever.
There you go.
Well, not the first time ever, but the best of them.
Yeah.
And I just think like this year has been top tier.
Yeah, love that, man. You have been a busy boy.
Yeah, I know.
Been a very busy boy. I mean, most of my stuff has kind of been, it's the events I went to and the things that happen at those events that make them special for me. For example, I mean, a big one is Blink-182 with Tom DeLonge. I don't think that can ever be understated. That was like goated. Like it's like
top. I've been waiting for that my whole entire life.
Genuinely. I mean, maybe not my whole, maybe since I was like 11. You know what I mean? Like when I got into Blink properly, and then found out that Tom isn't in Blink, and you go, "What the fuck?"
Shit.
Yeah, and then you kind of make do with the Matt Skiba when they're releasing that stuff, and you're like, "Tom's never coming back."
Well, the only time when I saw Blink release new music, as I was a active fan, was the Matt Skiba era up till recently. So this has been a really cool experience
Because
for me.
Neighborhoods was like one of the last, and that was 2011, wasn't it?
So I was 11. I didn't really have like the music fandom that you do when you get a little bit older.
Yeah. And then we got California, which was
California was all right, yeah.
9.
9, not so much.
No.
But yeah, unbelievable to see Blink back. I think like my highlight in terms of gigs, I've got a couple listed down. I think my favourite gig of the year was Two Door Cinema Club at Live at Leeds Festival, which maybe is a bit of a strange one considering the size of some of the bands I've seen, but they were just so good. It was such an unbelievably good vibe. I was there, my brother and my best friend of years and years, and yeah, it was just fucking class. The mosh pity the whole time. I was nicely waved, but not to the point where I don't remember it. Like, do you know when it all just goes well?
Yeah.
That's how Two Door felt. And they were one of the first bands that brought me into like rock music or indie rock or whatever. So to see them in that scenario was really good. Do you have any gigs? What's your favourite gig?
I'd say out of the gigs, I mean, Blink is probably one of my favourite gigs.
Yeah.
Another thing, though, was seeing Prodigy and Soft Play. So Soft Play, I love seeing them wherever they are. Some at Leeds. I've seen them like 7 or 8 times now. But the Prodigy, actually seeing them live, I know it was without Keith, unfortunately, but the stage show that they had, the lights that they had, the sound, the quality of everything, honestly, it was one of the best like shows I've seen if in terms of the actual what was happening on stage. It was fucking nuts. The amount of lasers they had. At one point, they had a giant figurine of some guy in a big like jacket and that, and then he started shooting lasers out of his eyes, and it drew Keith's head, and then Keith started dancing in the laser, and it was just so different and not what I'm used to. And also, it's the fucking Prodigy who I've listened to. I'd never say I was, #1 fan of the Prodigy, but I used to have like 3 of their albums on my old iPod Shuffle, where you just listen to, so you just know every track.
It was like a good moment to see them live.
Yeah, and one of those where a song kicked in, you went, oh, fuck, because I didn't really, I don't listen to Prodigy loads these days.
It's not on your rotation 24/7, but when you're there, you're like, oh shit, I know this one.
The song slips in, it starts,
sometimes
and you go,
that's way nicer.
Oh, yeah.
When there's less anticipation for a gig and it ends up bin banging.
Yeah, and that was one of them. Yeah, I really rated that.
One of my shouts is seeing Wonder Horse at Truck Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're one of those bands where I seen them and I thought, fucking hell, these lot are going to be massive one day. But I went to the gig knowing a couple of songs, but when I seen them, I was like, these lot live are fucking incredible. Such a good live band. And then I seen them again since. I just think that they're huge. They're really good. And I can't wait to see it. Like if they're ever touring, I'm there.
Yeah. I remember you are a big fan of them. Yeah. I remember you saying when you came back from there, you were like, bro, you got to check out this band. Like,
they're fucking sick.
Yeah.
They're actually fucking sick.
Yeah.
I'll reel off a couple more of my favourite gigs.
Yeah.
Stormzy at Rock Worcher was incredible because similar to like you with the Prodigy, I had no expectation and I kind of forgot how many Stormzy songs I knew. Like I was kind of just going because it was there.
Did I see Stormzy this year?
No, I think that was last year. Yeah. But he was really good live. You could tell he had that energy and he loved the crowd interaction and stuff. And I imagine seeing him in the UK would be even better. But that turned me into now if Stormzy's ever touring, I'll definitely try to be there.
He's fucking phenomenal live. Yeah. And like how he again, it's studio quality. It is, and he can be running up on the stage doing Big for You Boots, slamming his feet around. And you're like, mad. How has he got the fucking breath control? But he's a big guy, and he's big guy. Huge. Yeah,
I wasn't expecting it. Do you have any more gigs on the list before I?
Gigs, nah.
No. All right, I've got 2 more. The first one is to be expected. I won't jump into it too much because we spoke about it last episode. So go watch the America segment if you want to hear about the 1975 at Madison Square Garden. Once in a lifetime gig. Don't think it'll ever be topped.
Well, I mean, you did it twice.
I think my favourite of the summer run this year was actually Foals at Leeds Festival. So I've seen Foals a couple of times and they're just so good. It's always really lively, but not in like an angry, worrying way, just like so much fun. I was there with 2 of my best mates, just bouncing about, having a fucking fantastic time, a little bit waved after it'd been sunny all day. And they were just unbelievable.
They headlined second, didn't they?
Yeah, second stage. And it was really cool. like walking from Foles, getting a pint, and then just going and watching Sam Fender. And I felt like I did it so right as well, because Sam Fender's not one where it's that lively, even up the front. So seeing Foles and moshing about for an hour, and then just being able to chill with a pint watching another unbelievable artist who I love in Sam Fender was just a fucking
after
perfect
such a sunny
day.
day as well, because it was a good weekend. That wasn't.
Other than I got forced that day by Harry earlier in the day to go watch Wet Leg for a little bit. And I think that was potentially the worst experience in my life.
On my chaise underlay. What the fuck she's talking about there?
Fucking
something I don't know.
Wet Leg.
Moving on from that, more events that I've been to this year. I've been fucking mad on the wrestling hype. I've been mad for wrestling. We're talking Rev Pro. We're talking 1PW RIP. Never fucking see what fucking happened with
Where's
that.
my refund?
I don't know. I haven't got the fucking refund.
You owe me 50 quid for that.
I won 50 quid.
It was like 45.
No, it wasn't. It was like 35, you little rat. Don't fucking...
You owe me bank, bro.
Interest.
Yeah, no. I've been waiting for this refund for like a month.
No, you fucking haven't.
You
just fucking brought a fucking... It doesn't matter. They have gone under, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Why are you nearly crying?
Because I'm sad, because I want that fucking money back. I even contacted my bank, and I was like, what can I do about this fraudulent thing? He says, well, you need to prove that you've contacted them first. And I said, well, they've gone into administration. Well, you need to contact the administrators. How the fuck do I know who they are?
Good
There's
luck,
no information online for that. And it happened 2 months ago it was supposed to happen.
Bitch, better find my money.
I want to find your fucking money, bro. I want my money. Anyway, been wrestling crazy, been going to a lot of events. I've got AEW next year, all in.
That'll be a
Wembley. I'm fucking hyped for that. Hey.
Although, I must admit, since the return, the ultimate return of CM Punk to WWE, which is the greatest thing that's happened in wrestling for over a decade.
Greatest thing that's happened in wrestling for the guy that fucking badmouthed WWE for ages. Oh, he's come back. Why did he come back?
Listen.
Is he poor? Has he got no money, Joe? Does he need money? Is that why he's come back?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why are you
money.
hyped about it?
Because he's in better shape now than he was when he came to AEW.
He shouldn't have been in AEW either.
Right, anyway, but hear me out.
He should just fuck off.
I think that this return proves where AEW are.
I don't know what that means.
They had to let go of CM Punk because the management was too shit to keep a hold of him. And to have him...
I don't think it's
right, bro,
that.
will you listen? Can you just let me finish?
Yeah.
So they've lost CM Punk, and now AEW seems to be, to me, just bringing in more of the... Listen. Just bringing in these old WWE dons who are clearly not good enough to do it at that level anymore.
What about Will Ospreay?
What about fucking Ric Flair?
Who the fuck wouldn't want Ric Flair?
He's 85.
It doesn't matter.
And he's had
it doesn't fucking matter.
He's had like 4 heart attacks and they're fucking wheeling him out.
I can't be talking to
it's
you.
bad.
I can't be
They're bringing out
talking to
Ric
you.
Flair in 2023.
I can't talk to you about this.
Like, to be fair, Will Ospreay is pretty good. I do rate him.
Who would you rather see? Somebody with fucking 40 years worth of potential of amazing fights?
I just said he's good.
Why
are you angry?
Saying, but AEW versus WWE, no comparison.
It is.
It's not.
And at the minute, AEW are losing, bro. And I want
You're just saying.
I actually want both. I want both of them to do well.
Me too. I do want, because there's no reason.
And they need to stop wheeling out Ric Flair. Like, think about all the big people in AEW at the minute are just all You still got fucking Christian and Edge feuding. What is this, 1990?
Oh, CM Punk's back. What is this, 2005?
No, it's 2012 when he was at his peak, and now he's back at his peak.
How can he be back at his peak?
Because
how can he be at his peak if he hasn't been wrestling?
That return was the biggest thing that's happened in wrestling ever in terms of numbers. It actually was.
Was it actually?
Yeah.
Is that a genuine fact?
Yeah, like on socials, it got more views
than
anything has ever. So even his AEW return didn't boot off like that, and that should have done, because it was him going to a rival, which, and it was the first time he'd come back. It's actually mental.
All right.
Why?
No, I got nothing else to say. I'm sorry for offending you. No, it's just, nah. It is what, it's just a fucking old guy coming back. You're talking about Ric Flair, talking about CM Punk.
CM Punk's not had any heart attacks.
Oh, he might.
Or strokes.
Yeah, true.
Or doing signed pictures on Facebook Live for money.
Have? Who? The other old man, Jericho.
You know what I mean, though? Like, it's
Jericho
kind of
fights like shit.
Like, I know
Jericho is so slow. He's so slow.
AEW has some fantastic wrestlers
they
like
do.
Ospreay, Darby Allin.
Yeah.
They've got
Yeah.
Young Bucks and fucking Kenny Omega. But it seems like the people that are still their biggest stars after 2 years of trying to build up these other names is still fucking Jericho and Christian and Edge and shit, which is not a good position to be in.
It's not, but I can't think of any wrestlers from the past 10 years that have hit the heights, because I think wrestling as a whole is just not as big as it was in the early 2000s.
I think it's doing really well right
No,
now.
it's doing really well, but it's not as big as it was back then. Everybody fucking knew wrestling. All
No,
the
I think they
kids
do
had
now,
it.
though.
Do you think?
Yeah, there's more people watching wrestling now on TV than there was in the early 2000s.
You reckon?
In the John Cena era, yeah. Like, if you ask anyone now, everyone knows who all the big WWE wrestlers are. Everyone knows Roman Reigns, and everyone still knows, like, Cena,
Roman
Orton.
Reigns pisses me. When are they going to get rid of him?
Yeah, I
He
don't
shouldn't
know.
be top Donny. I like him, but he shouldn't be top Donny.
Yeah, but they've built him up. He's quite a good villain now. Whoever dethrones him will be the next megastar, though. They've built it to that point.
You know, it's going to be CM Punk.
Nah, I think it'll be Rhodes, to be honest.
True. Yeah.
I don't think they'll give it. I think Punk will feud Rollins for the other title. And it makes sense because they've got beef. They had beef in real life anyway. So
I don't know if it's too good. Getting
any other highlights for the year?
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, Rev Pro before AEW All In. That was sick because Jericho made an appearance just right in front of me, masked, luchador mask, and then he took it off. I was like, when he came out, I was like, that small, slow, able-bodied man, that right there is Jericho. And then he took his mask off, and it was fucking Jericho. I was like, yeah, it's
You got it.
not hard to tell. The other one was Fantastica Mania, which was Rev Pro's luchador event, where they got a bunch of Spanish wrestlers and Mexican wrestlers and all that to come over. And at one point, the wrestlers flew over the barrier onto my seats. And I fucking loved that because the ref was like, move out the way. They tried to do the spot, but none of us moved. So he went into the railing and they asked us to move again. Then when we finally moved, he went over the railing. And I was like, we fucked that. They definitely were supposed to go over the first time. But just little things like that where it's
Just
a little
cool,
thing
memorable
in a big
moments.
event where you're like, oh, that was just me. That happened to me. Like nobody else had a guy fly over onto him. And whilst we're on the wrestling thing, I'll talk about one of the best matches that has happened in potentially all of wrestling history.
Ric Flair versus
versus Jericho. And it was the Hangman versus Swerve Texas death match at the what was it, Full Gear.
Okay.
That was
Loved
have
it.
you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen bits of it, but not the full thing.
It's fucking brutal. Within the first 5 minutes there's blood everywhere and all you're thinking is they've done everything. What the fuck can they do?
And it continues.
And they just keep ramping it up.
Oh.
And you've got fucking Nana dancing around doing the fucking Swerve dance whilst fucking Swerve's got like barbed wire around his head and he's against the thing and he's just fucking dancing around. One of the best matches I've seen
I'll check
like
it.
ever.
I've been a bit more on the wrestling hype since Punk came back to WWE a few weeks ago because it was that much nostalgia. It brought tears to my eyes.
The one thing that surprised me is they pulled out the black bag, right? And to pour out onto the stage, everyone's thinking tax, broken glass.
Oh no, that's rancid.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, it were fucking good. But yeah, that's a highlight for me.
Fair.
Genuine highlight.
Fair. I don't really have any more highlights, to be honest. I did loads of gigs and amazing holidays. To be honest, I'm feeling like pretty grateful this year. Thanks to everyone who's listened to an episode,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, big
and thanks to everyone who's come on. We've had some fucking unbelievable
Amazing guests.
Yeah,
Some fucking fantastic
Next
guests.
year we need to smash it out the park even more. But seriously, if you've come on or if you've listened once or twice, thanks,
We
because
appreciate it.
yeah, it means a lot. And big ups to all the boys
Yeah. Big up.
in general. Like it's been a goated year. Like I felt shit at the start of this year. I was unwell for like a month or two, and then I feel like everything's gone well from that point. Like
Man's on the come up.
yeah, it should. You know when shit's just good, like everything's just good. I need to remember this when shit's not so good.
That's it,
Like I
yeah.
can come back and look at this and be like, fucking goated relationship, goated friendship group, goated experiences. Sometimes shit will be a bit shit, but right now it's fucking top tier.
So keep yourself humble.
So thanks to everyone involved
Thank you
with
very
me.
much, Lee. With you.
Yeah,
Thanks to everyone involved with me then. Because apparently I'm not.
he doesn't like you really.
So no. Which one are you talking to?
I was talking to the wide angle.
Oh, we're talking to. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but come back next year.
Come back next. Maybe come
Well,
back next week. Who
nah,
knows?
yeah,
I don't know what our schedule is.
We might do
really.
like a Christmas. We need to do a Christmas thing.
I wanna do a-
I even
I
brought
wanna
some
do a
little
Christmas
Christmas
one.
decorations in behind the camera.
Oh,
so
true.
if I thought
Was
we
that what
could
they were?
Christmas it up.
Oh yeah.
So I think we should have like a couple beers and just like have a laugh. I don't know, really.
Defo, yeah.
I might just pull all the boys in for a Christmas special.
We just talk about
Just get a couple. Should we do that?
Christmas music.
Should we just get a couple people in and just get a bit hammered and have a laugh?
See what happens.
I think that could be quite cool.
Yeah. If it goes shit, we just don't upload
Yeah,
it.
we just don't have to post it.
Yeah, we just
So
get
if you come
pissed.
do it and it's shit, you know why it's not gone anywhere. Or they'll think it was good. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you very
I
much.
hope albums are better next year as well. And
Yeah,
no
me
Fast
too.
and Furious.
Yeah,
Peace.
and better other shit. Films, music, everything.
Goodbye.
You ended it yet? Let's fucking end this shit, man.